Let's pivot on to something a lot lighter now, right? So yeah, earlier this week, I saw this on the news. Actually, it was last Tuesday, the time of us recording this, and I shared it immediately on Facebook. And you actually were the first person to respond, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, we
Okay.
boy Andre Benjamin, by aka Andre
Right, right, right,
3000,
right, right,
decided to drop a record, right? The first
right,
that he's dropped in like what 17 years, because other than some great guest features and whatnot, like case in point, his appearance on the now Grammy nominated album Michael from Killer Mike ranks
right,
amongst one of the best verses of the year in my opinion. Like just what he
right,
did in I think it's called Scientists and Doctors, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Scientists
right,
and Doctors. I think that's what it is. Yeah, is amazing. You should really listen to that, right? And the
right.
album is great. I love it. It's one of my favorites of the year. But anyway, right? Yeah, so we were since Outcast pretty much was just on hiatus, right? Ever since they put out and well they put out the movie Idlewild and put out
Right.
the album for it, the
No,
soundtrack for
like
it back in like what
yeah,
2006 I think it was.
no,
Yeah,
off the top of my head, I always thought that was an Andrew 3000 album. I was like, no, it's an Outcast album. Shit, like they
yeah.
didn't bring out one.
But
And it's only when I
but
read the
honestly,
headline, it's like
it really feels like a Andre 2000 album. Eh? It is
exactly.
the
And
vibe of it.
I thought, remember he had it was a cartoon he had. I thought the soundtrack for that show was an Andrew 2000 album, so I thought that counted as one of his albums. Nope,
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
count.
that one where he was the school
Yeah, that
teacher,
cartoon.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah, it was something like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I
I thought that
never
was the
watched
thing.
honestly. I really should have, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I just didn't
I
care.
vaguely remembered. I vaguely remembered, but you go for the music. Like I don't remember the show being funny or anything like that. It's
Right.
just the music was good. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I
But
was like, oh yeah, right. They didn't do that. And then I was thinking, wait, didn't they do the soundtrack for Scooby Doo? But it's like no, they just do like one song or two. It's like
yeah,
no,
that
no,
was Land of
but
a
still,
Million Drums, which was
yeah, which is
dope. Which
still
was dope.
they're very dope. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was really shocking that Andrew 2000 never put out a single album. It's like wow, that weird though.
Yeah,
Um, and
and
then
here's the funny thing, right? Ever since Killer Mike's album Michael dropped, right? And people were just geeking off over his verse on that album.
right,
He Killer Mike himself was teasing the fact that Andrew gonna drop something this year, and yeah, you
right,
have the hip hop heads who say, nah, he ain't dropping nothing, right? One of our good friends, Randerson, for example, right? Shout out to Randerson was saying, if he drops something now, like in 2023, it will be totally different and people will not accept it. It will be radically different than what we would
right,
expect or what we would assume we
right.
would get from ever since he dropped
But
The Love
we
Below,
had to
right?
put that word. We had to put that word expected quotes because I just got straight up say it. Yeah, nothing about this was super surprising to me. Like what I heard a certain statement, a certain word. I was like, yeah, okay, I think I know what I'm going to get. This is dead dog do not open, right? Um, it's that. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
on.
right. So pre-ramble aside now. So yes, on Friday now, last Friday, yeah, Andre blessed us with a new album called New
Right,
Blue Sun.
right,
Technically, this is his debut solo album, right? Because Love
right,
Below, even though it is
right. It's part of the
primarily an
job.
Andre album, is part of the package, this package that is Speaker Boxy Love Below, right? So technically, this
Right,
is his debut studio release, right? A lot of people wouldn't really think about that because they'll just be thinking Love Below. And I myself was thinking about Love Below diving into this, right? But what shocked people was, no bars, right? This was a pure instrumental album, right? But the next
right,
thing he said is that it was going to incorporate a lot of woodwind instruments, right? And my
right,
mind instantly went to that film that he starred in, Showing Up, even though it's a film from last year, right?
right,
It was released digitally this year, and I reviewed it. Even though
right,
I didn't really care for the show all that much, though, and that's coming from somebody who tends to put 8 to 4 films on this pedestal, right?
right,
I did. I can't even remember if I mentioned the music in that show and all too, but yes, I took note of the woodwind music that Andrew
right.
did, right? Because yeah, I was surprised when I seen music from Andrew. Like, oh, okay, I thought he was just appearing in the show, and he did that, but I was taking note of the music, right? So yeah, when I heard woodwind instruments, like okay, he just kind of doing this stuff again, right? But yeah, the album dropped. Much to our surprise, the album was like 87 minutes, or I should say 88 minutes technically, right? So my issue with it though, well, going into it was how people would have responded to it, right? Because again, we're
Right.
talking about Andrew 2000. I mean, he is no like he like I would say from
Club.
since
I will.
ETLians. Since ETLians in '96, you know this guy does experiment a lot with music. You know that this guy
Yeah,
is
exactly.
forward thinking. He's very progressive when it
Exactly.
comes to his music, right?
That's
Yeah.
why we what four albums or 5 albums into Janelle Monáe's career.
Yeah.
So why would I think that Andrew 2000 gonna be talking will be something like what he was? And look, I will admit my bias. I wanted this album to be all that first verse of Stankonia, right? The first verse of what do you call it oh gosh the track on Stankonia, got
Not
the
so fresh
first
so
release.
clean, no.
That's
No.
not very looking. Bombs over Baghdad,
Oh,
right?
oh God.
I wanted to be that. I wanted to be the first was I thought the whole I didn't think that, but I wanted it to be that because
Okay.
that's my prime Drew 2000 stuff, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or that album or that song or the song the wedding song. I forget this song with
Or
Drew 2000.
International Players Anthem.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
That
Great example.
right?
Mhm.
Or also special clean or whatever it is, right? But I'm not surprised at this at all. So but I knew and when I heard the word flute, I was like, yeah, I know what we're gonna get. We're gonna get an entirely flute album.
Yeah,
Nothing on
yeah, yeah.
surprise here. But what I thought we were gonna get, at least, I thought this was gonna be like the flute equivalent of something like Abel Salauchi. Where
Oh.
it's all about that style and aesthetic, where it's gonna be like a real vibe and it's gonna be more orchestral.
Mhm.
And we don't get that either. What we get is something very laid back, something very, you know, in the groove, in the mood, and nothing about this is surprising either. So that's why it's not super surprising because like it's meditation music and
Yeah.
super chill out music and
It's ambient
yeah,
music. That's what it is, right?
it's ambient,
Yeah.
it's pure ambient music. And like fine. And I dig it for what it is.
Me
It's
too.
fine.
Me too. Yeah,
Like
yeah. So
somebody make the joke, yeah, it's yoga mom music at this point. It's
yeah, boy.
that's so many jokes people make. Look what Erica Badu do to him.
Yeah, boy.
But
I saw that picture. That was
yeah,
hilarious.
was the other jokes by Boondocks? Boondocks, he ended the Boondocks.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yes,
Key
yes,
and
yes.
Peele,
I don't remember. Yes,
yeah,
that flute music that
right.
ended. The
Right,
show.
exactly. Or what is the other jokes by? Oh, Key and Peele, that sketch with Key and Peele in it. When the two of them talking about Andrew 2000, that big boy, like when they
Mm,
meet together years later, and he behaving like a total weirdo kind of person that and is I think it's Keegan Michael played Andrew.
right.
It's that.
Yeah.
Hey, look it. Here's the thing with this, right?
Uh,
It is both fulfilling the stereotype and not. Because
mm,
in a sense, it's like everything, all those jokes kind of correct in a sense, but at the same time, it's like it's not a problem, it's a vibe, and I dig it for what it is. And I for the most part, I enjoy the album. I can't say that, wait, boy, this is real up your ass thing or anything like that. It's like, no, this is what it is. As I said, dead dove inside, do not eat.
yeah.
You get what
Yes. Yeah.
you don't know what to expect. You don't know what else to expect. And but I dig it for what it was. Like, yeah, this is fine. Yes, would I have won that first verse from Bombs Over Baghdad? Yes, I would want that. I admit that. But this I accept this. This is not and it's not like wait, I'm making a peace with it or anything like that. No. This is what you get. Sorry to say it. You move on in that sense now. And it seems from what I understand, it seems to have very positive reviews. From what I understand, at least for most people, seem to like it for what it was. I dig it. It's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, me too, me too. As I mentioned, Stan Konya, so, quite a number of times, right? What I
Yeah.
was at least expecting, right? Just again thinking about the Love Below, is the final track of that album, which was "A Life in the Day" of
Right.
Andrew Benjamin, where
Yes.
everything else was just like experimental stuff with jazz and funk and soul, and have a lot of singing and not that much rapping, and
Right.
not that much, Big Boy, to begin with, because he was just on
Right.
Roses, if I'm not mistaken, right? But remember, there
Right.
was that final track, "A Life in the Day" of Andrew Benjamin, and just him rapping,
Right.
and this
Right.
suddenly stops after like 5 minutes, because it's like, yeah, I done, I think that's all I have to, all I have to say.
Right. But
That was what
that's
I
what
was expecting with this, though, like at least
right.
you would hear the instrumental stuff, right? And then somewhere in the middle or in the end, he just sort of spits and it's just like, all right, this is where I'm at age 48. So in other words, like a
Exactly.
sequel to that track, right? Yeah, this is where I'm
Right.
at age 48, and this is why I make this album, and this is where I'm at in my life, and that's it. And you take that. So to
Yeah.
the average hip hop head, they could say, hey, well, at least he dropped some fire. At least he dropped a song in the air. Okay, cool. And you can let all the other stuff
Right.
slide. No, but no, it's just pure music, right? But I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, like again, I was expecting when I heard that I thought we would have gotten something more, for lack of a better term, more workable in that sense now, where it's something for hip hop heads, something again, not again. Think of it, Abel Saloucha and how he does his stuff where it's real exciting, but it's a larger like conceit and it have the woodwind instruments involved with that. But no, it just so everything that's totally laid back now, as it is now. But yeah, look, the man again, he's what his late 40s.
48,
That what it
48.
is.
He's 48.
Yeah, late 40s, yeah, exactly. So it's like I can't be mad at any of this. Like at what
No.
point am I supposed to be mad at this in any way? Like yeah, the man super chill and zen at this point in his life. He like I've watched a handful of interviews with him with that. And he was like, yeah, he was just talking about his come up. He did a bunch of secret stuff, like it's his music and what he did, which was interesting to hear. Like, have a bunch of stuff he said he did that's out there that we don't know exists apparently. Like, all right, would I can live with that too. Because some people think well, everybody make the joke that he do the instrumentals a mask off. Not true.
Oh, God.
but yeah, but it's stuff like that. It have music out there that we don't know is his according to him, and it could be stuff that's there. Like, all right, that's kind of interesting. And then again, nothing surprising. A bunch of people, all the shit that the people giving this album, well, those who are giving it shit, a bunch of people already sampling the album going
Yeah,
forward.
which is
So
kind of
I can
awesome, by the way. Yeah?
imagine. I can imagine, uh, like this might not have necessarily have the blessing of him, but I can imagine somebody creating, a hip hop album derivative of this, right? So it's an entire album dedicated to samples from this, and then
Hmm.
pulling from this, and it's a kind of like Andrew 2000 now the woodwind new Jabez at this point.
Yeah,
Like it's that.
and
I can
I just
imagine.
imagining him right now, like Old Yellow Sun or something like that.
Or something, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, something like that. And somebody make a fan album or something like that. Whatever. And well, we living in this world of AI and things, so somebody could just spit out real fast and put it on YouTube quick.
Yeah.
Normal thing.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what I see it.
So
Yeah, go
so
ahead.
so so
Last thing,
quick.
what did I
Yeah.
say?
All right.
Yeah,
So quick thoughts on the album, right? So we both
sure.
checked it out twice. I mean, I'm sorry, it's 88 minutes. So like
Right.
we like in my case, I just had to sit down and really like dedicate my time, right?
Yeah,
Even
that
though
what
I
happened.
was doing things, because
Yeah, what
sorry,
happened to me?
that's what ambient music kind of does. You could kind
I don't
of do
have any.
things.
I don't have. Yeah, what happened to me? I don't have anything super busy to do for the week or anything like that. So usually, and I didn't. I was supposed to take like usually I might take a walk or two if I could find time. So I'll just stick it. I didn't stick it on the phone to do that. So I'd do that and take the walk and I'd get a proper way to listen to the album. I didn't do that. I listened to it home. Not as much in usually if I walk in I'll take the album a little better. So that's what happened with me in that sense. So yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Right,
go ahead.
right. So what's so funny, right, is that prior to me listening to that album, I did another review for this Chicago artist by the name of CW France, right? Shout out to
Right.
CW, right? I've been covering his work for the past few years through Fiverr, right? And his bag is that same ambient / experimental music, right?
Right.
So ever so
Right.
often he will sing, other times it'll just be like spoken word or like instrumental stuff, right? So I don't want to sound pretentious when I say this, but I'm kind of used to this music, right? I'm kind of used to this sort of spacey, ethereal kind of ambient kind of music. I'm used to
Right.
this. I have to thank CW for that, right? For more or less just kind of opening my eyes to what ambient music is, right? And not just beats to study to or relax to, right? There's kind of more
Right.
to it than that, right? So yeah, while I was listening to all this, while I wasn't completely blown away by what it is I hearing, like it's not anything revolutionary in my opinion, right? It still is. It still kind of delivers the goods, though. You know what I mean? As far as just the music and the vibe goes, right? What I will say about André, though, he has a bright future, sorry, as a composer, right? Just being able, because it's not just him,
Right.
because the joke going in is like, oh, it's just flutes and that's all we hear. No, you
No.
have
No.
other
Yeah.
artists who are there who providing
Yeah.
other pieces of other instrumentation to it too, right? In
No, that's what I said. It is that kind of general conceit of it, but it's all woodwind. That's why I
yes,
think I would have liked at least other instruments involved. That's the whole thing with that now. And it's the etherealness of that. I remember his verse on that Goody Mob song. That was weird as hell in the music video.
what
Um,
was it by
it's all right, girl. It's okay. What's the name of that song again, boy? It's on my mind right now.
yeah, I can't remember,
Yeah,
but I think I know what you're talking about, right?
but it's like a big Alice in Wonderland thing.
Uh-huh.
Like that's the whole conceit why it was so weird.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a lot of that vibes in it too. So it's
Yeah.
like yeah, as I say, your mom music.
Yeah, but yeah, as I was saying though, just how he was just able to get these artists, right? I think they're mostly LA based, right? To come together
Right,
to just craft these great songs, right? I just love how it will just build off of just this simple melody and just evolve over time, right? And when you say over time, we're talking about music, we're talking about songs that pass the 10 minute like time break, right? So yeah, you will
right,
get 13-minute songs. There's one that clocks in at 17 minutes, right? And it
right.
just sort of ebbs and flows on you just there in this zone for
Yeah,
like however long the song runs, right? And as on the subject of sampling, right, there's bits and pieces of melodies though that stick with you, and you wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised if you'll hear it in a song in the future, right? So case in point, the opening track, right? This is the first and only time I'm gonna even call these track these
Yeah. Track
um
name is also
these
funny
track
too.
names because they're real weird,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
purposefully weird, right? Like it's just this
Right,
random statement or like a haiku just written, and it's just supposed to make sense to Andrew, right? So in the opening track, which is I swear I really wanted to make a
right,
rap album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me this time.
right,
So
right.
it's
That kind of funny too.
it is right. So there's
Yeah,
this. All right. So I'm gonna try to. I'm pretty much gonna articulate the moment itself, right? But when you hear it, trust me, it will stay with you. It's like nearly halfway mark and it goes on to the end. It's this. Bep, 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 ba-da-dun, ba-da-dun,
right.
bep, 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 ba-da-dun, ba-da-dun, bep, bep, bep. And that plays for like about the second half of that song, and trust me, that shit will stay with you. Where it just
Yeah,
playing in your head there. It's like I love this. It's so cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's just so much great moments like that, right? But at the end of the day, it's a mood piece, right? They all
you're right.
kind of spacey. They're all just designed to make you relaxed and whatnot. 'Cause yeah, I was listening to this and I was just like, yeah, boy, I'm just feeling relaxed, man. Like, I'm
Yeah,
forgetting about, all the troubles I dealt with over the past few days. I just, like, I'm in Zen right now, you know what I mean? And that's the point of it, right? It totally works
right.
here, right? What I will say though, what makes this release really fascinating, right? Is that I want to see how the average hip hop head responds it, right? 'Cause case in point, like I follow Pete Rock, right, the legendary Pete Rock on IG, and he was just praising the album. He was talking about
Right.
so much samples in this, right? And he was just basically
Yep.
saying, also Q-Tip, my boy Q-Tip, right? The
Right.
OG.
Right.
He and I was bigging up this album too. Like, you know what? Yeah,
Right.
he's 48, man. Like, let the man do like experimentation too, right? And that's coming from, a guy, Q-Tip, right? That's coming from a man who branched off of a rap one day and just decided to just put out this R&B jazz album, new soul, sorry, jazz album called Kamal the Abstract. Absolutely love that record, right? Yeah, and
Right.
we know him as, and this was right after Vibrant Thing, eh? So think about that, right? He went
Right.
from there
Right.
to that, right? So yeah, at the end of the day, that's what I really admire about this record, and that's what I really admire
Exactly.
about Andrew himself. Right? Like, look, I'm in a different place right now. I don't need to do Hey
Exactly.
Ya because I did Hey Ya back in 2004. Okay, deal with it, right? But I'm in a
Yeah.
different place. I want to try something new. It's not like I just wake up and decide to do this. I've been experimenting with this for a long while now. Let me put this out here. And then if I feel the need to rap again, then I put out a EP or a track or whatever. Or if I'm real
Whatever. Yeah.
serious, I put out an
No,
album, right? And
this
that's
is this
it.
is part of a yeah, and this is part of a larger argument with hip hop. In terms of like, I forget who did this first joke, who made the reference. I forget. I think is oh gosh. Oh no, no, right. Is that fictitious argument that was in the Teddy Perkins episode of
Atlanta.
Atlanta, right? Where maybe it had a little small moment where they were talking about the nature of hip hop and how it should evolve,
Right.
and they were making some decent points. I wanted to see that argument finish itself off. I want to see where it was going,
Mm.
but no, it look like I admit that. Like I praise people like 50 Cent. I mean, you could get into that kind of borderline conspiracy theory stuff about what type of hip hop is deliberately pushed forward and what type of music is when you associate black music, when you think about in modern, especially hip hop, where it going and the evolution of hip hop and whatnot, right? And so on and so forth, right? And yeah, when we think of Andrew 2000, I think of him as the hip hop artist. My favorite moments is yes, that opening to Stan Cunha, the opening to Bums Over Baghdad, yes. But no, this is where it should be. Like in a sense, this is the real evolution of the material. This is where it should go. In my humble opinion, regardless if you like it or not, I do like it. Let's be clear about that. But you know, this is real growth. Sorry, this is maturity. This is, you have fake maturity like something like Magna Carta Holy Grail, but then you have real maturity like 444. My opinion only, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remember that. But you get my point, right? Like that's how I always felt about this kind of stuff anyway. So yeah, I can't be mad at any of this, to be honest. Like none
Neither
of this
me.
is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but also, in terms of how the hip hop community, that's how I should say it, responded, right? I mean, so far it's positive, right? I mean, yes,
Yeah.
there will be the jokes and whatnot, right? It's just all flute music, right? And
Right.
oh, it's that's it, right? But no, there's actually more to it than that, right?
There's
Um,
another joke. There's another joke. Oh gosh, Dave Chappelle when he was saying doodle doodle doodle. I can't remember what. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
I
I
forget what
forget where that come
snippet is that.
from, boy.
Yeah, I try to remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, I mean, sorry, it's been years, right? Literally decades.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'll
since
go back
since
and look
since
for it.
since
Yeah.
since gosh, since Speak About Your Love Below came out, right? That
Right.
was
Right.
that was when Chappelle's show was at its height, right? But yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but not just the response from the hip hop community. I mean, of course, there'll be jokes, but that's fine, right? But I think it's all in good nature, right? But also just how people themselves, just how artists themselves, just kind of look at their work, right? Look at their art. And I'm not just talking about musicians and not just talking about rappers, but yeah, just like, because like, I don't know where I will be in my 40s. I don't know if I'll ever like, write a book or, sorry, write a novel or write a screenplay or, get greenlit or whatever. I don't know where I'll be, right? But
Right.
the idea, right? And this is one thing that I really admire about the record here too. The idea that you're creative and you just had to kind of go, like I say, with that opening track title, where the wind goes, right? So yeah, he just
No, this.
wanted to do this. So
Yeah. No, this.
us
This. This
now
argument.
as creators shouldn't be afraid to at least try something different and not just be thinking, oh, what about our fan base? You know what I mean? If it exists at
Right.
all, right? Or even if you don't have a fan base, oh, what my friends and family could think about it? You think I'm going mad? Like, why doing this for? Why don't just stay in my comfort zone and just do the stuff that I
Exactly.
love, man? But no, like
Yeah.
just kind of try it out, and if you feel confident to put it out. Because I wouldn't be surprised if this was stuff that Andrew was sitting on for like about a couple of years or so, right? The
Yeah.
man decided to put it out, so yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
this was no, this was building over a hot minute, and to be fair, like it kind of overlaps with the previous conversation about Diddy, which is yeah, in terms of like the corporate end of things, the music industry, especially black music, should not cater to these things because to me to the detriment of a lot of black musical artists. So is that now like to me this is real freedom for lack of a better term. All
Agreed,
right,
and
that's
that's
how
the
I feel
freedom
about it.
that deep down inside we all want. We who call ourselves
Exactly.
creators want. We want to
Yeah.
put out the stuff that we want to put out, and not be thinking about reception and if
Bullshit.
it make money and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. No, just
Yeah.
put it out, bro.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna like give it a, I'm not gonna like score it or anything like that, right? But I really
Nah.
enjoyed it. And
Right.
that's just going off for two listens, right? At the moment, if I just have a I guess for me, it's just because I've been spoiled, if you will, by CW, right? Is that usually when he puts out albums of this nature, there's usually a specific theme, right? There's some
Right.
sort of style that's being utilized or some message or something like that, and I have to kind of decipher it and put it in review, right? But in this
Right.
case, it just seems like, you know what? I just had my friends together. We just came through. We just had these jam sessions or whatever, and this is what
Right.
you have there. So there's no real overarching theme or anything like that. It's just really
Right.
Andrew 2000 does ambient music. That's it, right? So don't go in expecting more than that, right? But still, what's there, what you hear there is great. And I make this joke on Facebook too. You have to leave it to Andre 2000 of all people to introduce the casual music listener to ambient slash experimental music, right? Because yeah, you know what I mean. This is gonna be the
Exactly.
type of music you'll just kind of put aside, like this is too spacey or this is too weird for me. I don't get it. But
No,
no,
like
just
for
just
me,
shut up, think about it, and it's like
yeah,
no, it's not. It's not like it kind of weird, but no, it's not like the most off-putting thing you'll ever hear about. It's
exactly.
relaxing. It's relaxing. Sorry, it's soothing. So just
Yeah,
shut off and just shut up. Sorry, and just let it flow, and that's it. There's no ulterior motives and no hidden messages, and it
yeah.
just let it flow, man, and that's it. That's the album, you know.
No, for me, it's this is part of my kind of bag of kind of chill out stuff. Anyway, this is I could see this on a genre come from documentary or something like that, right? That's how I kind of see that, right? Don't think about it like that. The newest angel of history or whatever it is, right? that's it. It's there. It's that kind of space and that mental conceit. And I just think about it like that. It's that. I can't be mad at any of this, for what it is. I could see some real cool Afrofuturism, anime using this in the soundtrack or something like that.
Oh, for
That's always
real, though. Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that. As I
There's
said,
some cuts on this too that should belong in an anime, right? Like for case in
yeah,
point, like I'm not even going to call out the title of the second verse, but the second track, but that second track in particular, what I was thinking about is like
right.
I could see this in an anime, like I could picture
Yeah,
this in an anime dread.
this is George Clinton stuff. This is Sun Ra. This is that's
Son,
why I see it.
it's more Sonra than George Clinton, in my
Right.
opinion. Yeah, yeah.
It's stuff like that. That's how I just feel about it in terms of that sense. As I said, I mentioned John Comfort, right? It's that, right?
Mm.
It's I could see this on the Black Panther 3 soundtrack or some shit like that. I don't know.
Hmm.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. It's stuff like that. It's just this to me is the direction. Again, nothing about this surprising at all. As I say, I make the joke. Dead dove inside, do not eat. It's that. It's straight up. It's straight up. This is what I expect from Andrew 3000. That's what I expect. Nothing surprising about it. Moving on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's
So
couple things couple, and then we move on, right?
sure.
So yeah, don't write off Andre just yet and think, oh, he's just pretentious and full of shit. No, no, no. The man
Right.
is an artist, shit, right? At the end of
Yeah,
the day,
exactly.
and I do hope that this album, encourages us creators to be more artistic, to just take more bold risks, and yeah, just follow our hearts, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be surprised if by years end this man either drops a song or a verse a year contender, because you already have one with that track that I mentioned off of Killer Mike's album, right? If you haven't checked it out, Ricardo, you really should. It's fantastic. That's the way how he
Yeah.
does it, right? And then last thing, and then we'll move on now. Will this be in my best of albums for the year? Maybe not. You know what I mean? Because for me, it just has to be something that I will go back to on a regular basis, and I could see myself going back to this, but I'd be in a mood, to be honest, because I am a guy who likes to listen to albums, right, from top to bottom. So I don't know, maybe if I just like real stressed out or I just need to relax, then maybe I'll put this on, before I go and sleep, or if I washing ways or whatever it is like that, right? But yeah, I could see it showing up as an honorable mention at least, because I don't want 2023 to end and then I just forget about this record. This is one that
Yeah.
I know, at least I hope so. I hope that more people will remember by year's end. Will it show up on other people's best of? I do hope so. If it show up on a Complex or a Pitchfork, that'd be awesome. That'd be great, right?
That will probably happen.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, right? But yeah, man, I mean, Andre is back, so to speak, and he does give us a reason to enjoy ambient music again, man. So yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Andre, for this fantastic record, man.
Right.